He jumped before the laser, shielding her with his body, not knowing he was saving the queen. Smoke curled through the shattered halls of the Zenthari Palace. Blaster fire echoed in the distance, the sound of boots pounding through marble and steel. Captain Elias Marren presses back to his scorched column, his rifle gripped tight in trembling hands. He wasn't supposed to be here. What had started as a diplomatic security detail had turned into a full-scale invasion. The Zarnek Syndicate had struck without warning, bypassing orbital defenses and landing soldiers in the heart of the alien capital. Elias's unit had been cut off in the chaos. He had lost contact with his squad hours ago. All he had left was instinct and a promise to keep the palace civilians safe. He heard a whimper. Turning quickly, he spotted her, a slender alien woman, clothed in a torn deep blue cloak, crouching behind an overturned table. Her silver hair spilled around her like moonlight, and her purple eyes were wide with terror. She looked young, no more than that. Regal. There was a presence in her, even in fear. "Hey!" Elias whispered, crouching low as he approached. "It's all right. I'm human." Terran Peace Corps. Her gaze flicked to the rifle, then to his eyes. "They are coming," she said in a soft voice, her common tongue clear, though accented. "Then we'd better move." He offered his hand. She hesitated, then took it. Her fingers were cold. They ran, through broken archways and burning corridors. Every path seemed blocked. The invaders were efficient, methodical. Elias knew they were hunting for high-value targets. And this woman might be one of them. "Who are you?" he asked as they ducked beneath a half-collapsed ceiling. "I am a servant," she replied after a pause. "A handmaiden of the royal court." He didn't entirely believe her. Her eyes didn't match her words. But there wasn't time to push. They slipped into a long, golden hall filled with towering glass mosaics. Elias stopped. He could hear footsteps behind them, multiple, fast. "We need cover, go!" he hissed, shoving her ahead toward the far end of the hall. Too late. A squad of Zarnek soldiers burst in from the corridor behind, rifles raised. They opened fire. Elias turned, grabbing the woman and pushing her behind him just as a searing red laser cut through the air. Time slowed. He saw the beam heading straight for her chest. And he moved. With no thought, no hesitation. He threw himself between her and the shot. The pain was immediate, blinding, burning through his side and shoulder as he crashed to the ground. He heard her scream his name, though he couldn't remember telling it to her. Another flash of light erupted. This one not from the soldiers. It was golden, brilliant, and hot like the sun. Elias tried to look up, but everything was blurring. He could just barely make out a force, an energy wave that hurled the Zarnek soldiers back. They hit the walls with bone-crushing thuds and slumped to the floor. Silence fell. He was on his back now, blinking at the vaulted ceiling. The smell of scorched metal and blood filled his nose. Then her face appeared above his. Her hands were on him, glowing faintly. The pain began to dull. "I'm sorry," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "I didn't want this." "What didn't you want?" "To lie." She pulled back the hood of her cloak. A faint silver crown shimmered over her brow, previously hidden. "I am Queen Serava of the Zenthari Empire." Elias blinked at her, confused. "Queen, you saved me, not knowing who I was," she said, tears slipping down her cheeks. "Why?" He coughed, tasting blood. "Didn't matter who you were, just that you needed saving." She pressed her hand to his wound again, pouring a strange warmth into him. "You could have died. Better me than you." "You're mad," she said softly. He gave her a small grin. "People say that." Hours passed. With Elias stabilized, though still weak, Serava guided them through a hidden passage beneath the palace. The secret route, led to a royal bunker sealed behind a gene-locked door. She activated it with a palm scan, and they slipped inside. Inside was safety. And secrets. Medical bots swarmed Elias as soon as he was inside, numbing the pain and repairing torn tissue with alien precision. As the sedation took hold, he drifted off, half-conscious, and watched Serava stand tall, issuing orders to palace guards who'd made it to the bunker. The fear in her face had vanished. She was no longer just a frightened woman. She was a ruler. Elias awoke hours later in a medical cot, his arm in a sling but functional. Serava stood nearby, staring at a large tactical display. Her armor shimmered now, elegant and ceremonial. The crown floated above her head again, clearer. "You're awake," she said, turning. "How bad is it?" he asked groggily. "We've retaken the inner palace. The syndicate is retreating, thanks in part to you. I just got shot." "You shielded the monarch of an empire with your body," she said, walking closer. "And by doing so, you gave my soldiers the moment they needed. That single act, it turned everything." He tried to sit up, wincing. Lucky timing. "No. Courage. You didn't know who I was, and yet you did it." He shrugged. It was the right thing to do. She sat beside him now, her eyes locked on his. There are very few who act without reward. Fewer still who do so from compassion. He gave her a half-smile. "So what now, Your Majesty?" She hesitated. "There is tradition in our culture. When a royal life is saved at such cost, a bond is offered." He raised an eyebrow. "Bond?" She nodded slowly. "Life bond. Partnership. Not slavery. Not obligation. But a tie between savior and sovereign. It is symbolic, sacred. It means trust beyond politics." "You offering that to me?" "I offer you a choice," she said. "Return to your people, a hero, or stay here with me, with purpose." Elias exhaled slowly. "You sure you want a guy who jumps in front of lasers without thinking?" She smiled faintly. "I want the man who thinks of others before himself." There was a long pause between them. Finally, Elias said, "All right, I'll stay, but only if I get better armor." She laughed. The sound was clear and full. The months that followed saw the Zenthari Empire rise stronger than before. Serava led with renewed vigor, and beside her stood a Terran captain with a repaired shoulder and a constant smirk. Though he never sought the spotlight, songs were written about the man who leapt before the laser. Children wore mock uniforms mimicking his style. Soldiers saluted him in passing. But none of that mattered to Elias. What mattered was the bond they had formed, not just between ruler and protector, but between two souls who, on the worst day of their lives, found each other, and from that chaos created something neither had expected, a future, together,